What's up guys, my name's Eddie and this video is about my journey in Panama. Hopefully I can give you guys a better understanding of what to expect during your visit, places to see, food to eat, accommodation and whatnot. Unfortunately, I lost 2 of my SD cards during my trip, which include Ancon Hill, San Francisco, food I ate, lodging, so when I mention some missing footage, that's what I'm referencing to. This video is also kind of long, so I'll leave a timestamp in the description as well as information that I talk about in the video. If you found this video helpful or entertaining, please like, subscribe, and share this with other people that you may think will find it helpful. Panama is Central America's southernmost country. It's surrounded by both the Atlantic and the Pacific Ocean. It has a population of 4.2 million. It neighbors Costa Rica to the west and Colombia to the east. Panama City is on the Pacific side of the country, where one opening of the canal is located, while the other is in Colón, on the Caribbean side. The country is located in the tropics, so it has wet and dry seasons with having warm and humid temperatures year-round. Note the term dry season is relative in Panama. While the Pacific coast basks under sunny skies, the highlands and Caribbean coast still get showers. It's busiest during the dry season, which occurs around December through April. However, consider visiting the rest of the year as you can experience local events and festivals, COVID permitting. I went at the end of March through April. I generally prefer traveling during off-season when there are less tourists. Panama is a highly developed and modernized country, but still holds a lot of its culture. The place has an atmosphere that's laid back and mellow. Though Panama's culture, custom, and language are predominantly Caribbean Spanish, it's a diverse nation filled with Europeans, Asians, and Afro-Panamanians, with also many US expats. Panama was the first Latin American country to adopt the US currency as its own after gaining independence from Colombia in 1904. So if you're a US resident, you won't need to exchange currency when visiting. They do have the Panamanian Balboa, which is their coin currency, but as for banknotes, they use the US dollar. It's fairly cheap to travel to Panama compared to its neighbor Costa Rica or Belize. For backpackers and budgeted travelers, expect to pay $40 to $60 a day, mid-range is around $90 to $100 a day, and luxury is around $140 and up. Mode of transportation during my visit was walking, renting an e-scooter through the Bird app, and Uber. On this trip, I stayed at several Airbnbs. When looking for accommodations, I recommend these 3 areas: Bella Vista, Casco, and Punta Paitilla. Amenities I look for are Wi-Fi, having the entirety of the place, and washer and dryer. Depending on the length of my trip, I usually pack light with a maximum of 2 bags, so washer and dryer is a must. My first accommodation was in Bella Vista, which is between Punta Paitilla and Casco. I chose it exactly for that reason. It takes half the time to get to the historic district and the modern financial metropolis. My second accommodation is at Mauricio's in Casco. Casco is one of the more expensive areas to stay in, but you can still find accommodation for most budgets, as long as you search early. Making your way to the quad, you'll be engulfed with a hanging garden, and situated in the middle is a swimming pool. Like everything in the historic district, the building is being renovated. You'll have access to a rooftop terrace where you can further relax and drink with company. The room was clean, well kept, modern, furnished, and it was closed to everything. You'll have a small fridge, TV with Netflix and YouTube, a giant bed, and high ceiling. The bathroom has marble flooring and walls, but lack a tabletop to store your toiletries. There's also a convenience store right across the street. Things to consider when staying in the historic district is the construction noise. You may be woken up in the morning by construction. If you can get past this, I recommend lodging in this area. Another thing to consider is traffic. certain parts of the day, traffic in and out of the historic district can get congested. Besides that, it's a great place to stay, it's safe, even at night, there are plenty of restaurants, vista points, bars, nightlife in a small concentrated area. Unfortunately, during my trip, there was a 10 p.m. curfew, so I didn't get to experience the nightlife. Mauricio is a good host, his Airbnb is in the center of everything, his place is well kept, clean, his communication was good, and he offers taxi pickup from the airport or wherever you're at. My third accommodation was at Giara's place in Punta Paitilla. I chose this area to stay so I can explore the modern parts of the city on foot and by scooter. It gave me closer access to San Francisco, Punta Pacifica, and other surrounding areas. Giara's place is surrounded by residential buildings, skyscrapers, hotels, retail shops, and several restaurants that are in walking distance. Her place is cozy, clean, and spacious. It's also well furnished. It comes with a minibar, kitchen with a full-size fridge, stove, and microwave, and you also get a washer and dryer. You get a full-size bathroom, a table that you can put your toiletries, a toilet, as well as a shower. In the bedroom, there's a TV, a closet, a fan, and an AC unit. Besides that, Giara was a great host. Her place was quiet, spacious, well furnished, and her communication was excellent. Panama is a country that's diverse, and that also reflects in its cuisine. Its dishes are a mix of indigenous, Spanish, US, and Afro-Caribbean influence, with rice, bean, and corn as basic staples. Being surrounded by two oceans on both sides, they make good use of seafood and native fruits and vegetables of the tropics. Arroz con de pollo, which translates to rice and chicken, and sancocho are signature dishes of Panama. Make sure to try these on your visit. Another dish I recommend is their ceviche. The places I recommend eating is at Diablicos and Casco. They had a great selection of traditional Panamanian food. El Marinero at the Fishmarket. I ate here multiple times and they had a great selection of seafood. And Con Colon Panamanian street food in the financial district. For ceviche, I went to Maisa, also located in Casco. These are the places I ate, which had the most memorable dishes on my trip. There are also many cafes you can visit around Casco, where you may find the Panamanian geisha coffee, one of the most expensive coffee beans in the world, that can sell up to $110 a cup. Walking through Avenida Central, you'll find plenty of street food and restaurants where you shouldn't shy away from. As well as walking through Cinta Costera. Monkey Island is home to several native species of monkeys in Central America. Here you'll find the mantled howler monkey, the white-faced capuchin, the tamarin, and the owl monkey. Monkey Island is made up of several different islands in Gatun Lake, a freshwater artificial lake in Panama created between 1907 and 1913. Situated in the Chagres River, the lake is home to a plethora of wildlife from monkeys, crocodiles, iguanas, sloths, fish, and birds. Getting to Monkey Island from the city is an easy 30-minute drive to Sobreña National Park. From there, you'll take a 10-minute boat ride to the islands. As you go along the river, you'll come across the giants of the sea. From large container ships, oil tankers, to tugboats that help their passage. About 40 of these behemoths navigate the channel on a daily basis. As these giants reach the opening of the canal, they are guided through a water lock system. They act like a massive elevator. At the beginning of their journey, they are raised from sea level to 85 feet into the lake. They are then lowered on the opposite side of the canal into the ocean. There are 12 locks in total, with an average of 8 hours to cross the canal. About 14,000 ships a year use this 48-mile waterway to cross oceans. As we reach Monkey Island, the search begins to spot and lure the monkeys out of hiding. A delicious fruit, whistling, or a bit of improvised monkey talk usually does the trick. The Panamanian white-faced capuchin is one of the best-known monkeys. It's highly social and it's noted for its tool use, including rubbing plants over their bodies for herbal medicine, to using tools as weapons, and for getting food. Females tend to stay within their original group, while males leave when they're 4. They change groups every 4 years after. They're considered vulnerable from a conservation standpoint. They're threatened by deforestation, hunting for as pets, and sometimes for bushmeat. This is the tamarin, a squirrel-sized monkey that also roams the Panamanian rainforest. While taking a tour to Monkey Island to see monkeys, know that you're going into a habitat and not a zoo. Getting up close to monkeys isn't always guaranteed. Our tour guide was Caesar. You can find him on Airbnb. I highly recommend booking his tour if you're in the city. He's friendly, informative, and insightful. He offers English, Spanish, and Portuguese guided tours. The tour takes 4 to 5 hours, and he provides transportation to and from your accommodation. You'll learn a lot about the Panama Canal, wildlife, and the ecosystem of the Panamanian rainforest. The Cinta Costera, meaning the Coastal Beltway, is a 64-acre land renovation project by the Panamanian government. The project is not just a boulevard to decongest the city's traffic, but a scenic coastline filled with bike trails and pedestrian walkways. It extends to Punta Paitilla, a modern area of the city and home to most of Panama's skyscrapers, to El Charrillo, a neighborhood in Casco, Viejo, facing the Amador Causeway. In the early 2000s, the government committed to spending almost $200 million to the project. It has become not only the city's top tourist destination, but cherished public space. It was initially completed in 2009, with the most recent and third extension completed in 2014. This is an impressive scenic waterfront and should be on top of your list when visiting Panama. The project includes the Cinta Costera Viaduct, a roadway and pedestrian bridge that encircles the historic district in UNESCO World Heritage Site, Casco, Viejo. The bridge is a 1.5-mile road that loops around the district. The construction of the bridge initially threatened the status of Casco Viejo as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. However, the designers came up with a low-profile design that strategically avoids infringing the parameters of the district and minimizing visual impact. If you plan on walking to the opposite side of the bridge or staying long, be sure to use the restroom beforehand, as you won't find any along the way. The pedestrian bridge is detached from the roadway and has a lane for pedestrians, bicycles, and landscape. You'll find an observation deck a quarter of the way through. As a precaution, it does get windy, so make sure your valuables are safely kept. There are both shaded and unshaded benches and lounge chairs along the way, with plenty of areas to take photos. On any given day, you'll find both locals and tourists alike exercising, walking the dog, relaxing, and roaming the Beltway. From Cinta Costera, not only can you stroll to the many attractions the city has to offer, but can start a pickup game of basketball, volleyball, or soccer. Nestled in between the many palm trees and greenery, you'll find parks, playgrounds, workout stations, recreational facilities, and green spaces. The whole coastal beltway inspires leisure and tranquility. While there are spaces that offer shade, there are many areas that don't. It's a great idea to have sunscreen, sunglasses, a hat, or an umbrella when planning the walk during midday. If the heat doesn't get to you, the humidity will, so a bottle of water is also recommended. You can also cool down by grabbing a cup of ice cream, slushy, or orange juice at the several food carts along the path. This is Planet Juice, the one of many carts you'll come across. They serve smoothies, freshly squeezed orange juice, and snacks for you to beat the heat. This was one of the sweetest orange juice I've ever had. Cinta Costera is a destination of leisure. From morning till night, this coastline walkway is quite safe, clean, and has enough space for you to explore and wander. While at any given day, you'll find people roaming around, the crowds usually flock in the morning before sunrise, and again at sunset when the heat starts to dissipate. After sundown, when the air cools, the space becomes more lively with vendors, street food, and performers. Chatter will start to fill the air from people relaxing from their day. Cinta Costera has something for everyone. If it's your first time in Panama, this is the first place to head to, as you can make your way to different places from here. Casco Viejo, or Casco Antiguo, is the historic district of Panama City. It was settled in 1673 and is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The district was once controlled by notorious gangs and the streets filled with drugs and violence that weren't safe for both tourists and locals alike. Today, it's a vibrant neighborhood that's constantly being renovated with stylish shops, classy hotels, up-and-coming restaurants, cafes, and nightlife. While there are still small pockets where tourists shouldn't wander, it's largely a safe place to walk through, even at night. The district is filled with colonial houses, historical churches, and plazas with crumbling pastel facade. From sightseeing and getting lost in the narrow corridors, eating traditional Panamanian food, going to museums, grabbing a drink at a rooftop bar, or a cup of coffee at a cafe, there are many things to do in Casco Viejo. This place is very touristy, so expect to pay tourist prices. While the tourist spot of Casco Viejo covers this area, just a few steps away, you'll find yourself in Avenida Central. Avenida Central is a 6-block-long pedestrian street market lined with malls, shops, eateries, and fruit stands. The Avenue blocks are pedestrian only and was the city's biggest commercial hub in the 20th century. Though it isn't what it used to be in its peak, the stretch of road is still very energetic and vibrant. It is a lively stretch of road that you'll find many locals doing their shopping. Unlike Casco Viejo, where tourists are common, you'll seldom come across one in Ave Central. It is more dilapidated compared to Casco Viejo, just a few blocks away. What it lacks in appearance makes up in atmosphere. If you don't travel much abroad, you may feel overstimulated by the sights and sounds to a point you may get culture shock. However, if you're adventurous and want to see another side of Panama, I recommend taking a stroll through the avenue. This place is fairly safe, with police patrolling along the avenue, but like with any busy areas around the world, be aware of your surroundings and valuables. Though I wouldn't recommend walking through the area at night. Here you'll find street performers, restaurants, bakeries, retail shops, and pedestrians from different walks of life converging into one area. Unlike Casco Viejo, where the prices are marked up, prices in Avenida Central are a lot lower. If you love exploring fish markets, night markets, Chinatowns, and urban jungles as I do, I highly recommend checking this place out. This was one of the street performers I came across.
Porque sería fatal. Adiós, amor, yo de ti, del amor de tu vida. Lo dijiste una vez, pero si te crees, como me duele verte, me resignaré a olvidarte, porque me fallaste, porque me fallaste.
There's just something about the atmosphere and the cadence of local daily life abroad that's different than what I'm used to back home that just attracts me to these areas. Places like these are also a treasure trove for street photography. The Fish Market, also called Mercado de Mariscos. It's located right outside of Casco Viejo and right along Cinta Costera. Panama is largely surrounded by oceans on two sides, so it makes sense that they have a good seafood culture. Outside the fish market, you can see a plethora of life hanging around, from the fishermen that bring the catch, locals wanting to relax, to cats, dogs, pelicans, and raccoons. The catch brings all sorts of life to this area. The fish market is made up of two parts. One is the market where you can buy freshly caught fish and seafood. They open early in the morning at 5 a.m. and they close early, so make sure to get there to get the best catch of the day. Like with all fish markets, you can see them clean, descale, and prepare their catch. The second part is a line of restaurants where they serve what's caught that day. These restaurants aren't fancy, but they serve freshly caught seafood in an excellent dish. I would recommend eating here before eating anywhere in the city. Here, you'll find many locals relaxing and enjoying themselves. As the sun goes down, this place becomes real lively and a jumble of chatter, TV, and music fills the air. As soon as you enter the food court, be prepared to be approached by several servers wanting to sit you down at their table. Don't be pressured and decline until you see something you like on a menu. With that said, I highly recommend eating at El Marinero Restaurante. It's the last restaurant before you enter Cinta Costera. This is the Amador Causeway, named after Manuel Amador Guerrero, the first president of Panama. It's a 3.7-mile long stretch of road and pedestrian walkway that extends to the Pacific Ocean. They link the 4 Causeway Islands through a causeway. Those islands are Neos, Colibra, Porico, and Flamenco Island. It has a great view of the city, and you can see ships entering and leaving the canal. When exploring this place, you'll encounter people walking, jogging, bike riding, and rollerblading. Before going here, make sure to bring a coat, sunscreen, a hat, and sunglasses. The weather shifts by the hour throughout the day. This place is located right next to the historic district of Casco, Viejo. If walking or coasting on a bike, plan to be here at least half a day exploring. This monument is the Pilares de la Patria, which translates to the Pillars of the Homeland. The 4 sculptures are by the artist Ricarte Martinez. They show people of diverse backgrounds, black, white, Indian, and peasant, working together to raise the Panamanian flag. It's a tribute to the contributions all Panamanians made towards building and shaping the country. It was built in 2003 and is located right at the entrance of the causeway. Near the Pilares de la Patria is the Bio Museum. It's a colorful origami-like building that was designed by the Canadian-born American Frank Gehry. The aesthetics celebrates Panama's biodiversity. Panama is home to more species of birds, animals, insects than the US and Canada combined. The museum has 8 exhibition halls that display Panama's geology, natural history, and diverse culture. During my visit, the museum was closed due to the pandemic, so I didn't get a chance to go inside the museum. As you walk through the causeway, you'll find benches in a few shaded areas. On your left, you'll see the Panama skyline, and on your right, you'll see ships passing by. When the tide is low, the ocean floor will reveal a few sunken boats. As you approach the halfway point of the causeway, you'll find a restroom, parking, and a few ice cream carts to cool off for when the weather heats up. One of the first islands you'll come across is Porico Island, where you'll see a sign that says La Vida Bella. Right behind it are several restaurants where you can grab a bite to eat and relax. There are also a line of stores and rental places to rent a bike, scooter, and other vehicles. As you make your way to Flamenco Island, you'll come across this giant sign of Panama, as well as more restaurants and eatery. The overall atmosphere of the causeway is mellow. There were families out, people walking their dog, exercising, jogging, and whatnot. If you're visiting Panama, even for a short amount of time or on a long layover, this is one of the places I recommend going to. Panama is home to the most skyscrapers in all of Latin America. You can see most of these giants in the financial district and surrounding areas. One of the reasons why Panama has a plethora of skyscrapers is because the city doesn't have much space to spread outwards, and in doing so would have a terrible environmental impact in the surrounding jungles and nature. The tallest of these giants is the JW Marriott Panama. It stands at 931 feet or 284 meters and has 70 floors. The building is an imposing structure with its leaf-like design that's tucked away in the modern neighborhood of Punta Pacifica. It is a mixed-use waterfront hotel, condo, office, casino, and retail tower. As of making this video, it is the #1 tallest building in Central America and 249th in the world. Construction began in 2007 and was completed in 2011 with a cost of $400 million US. It's one of the most iconic and unique skyscrapers in Panama and can be easily spotted from a distance. Another iconic and distinctive building you'll come across is the F&F Tower, aka El Tornillo. It was previously known as the Revolution Tower. It stands at 796 feet or 243 meters, with 52 floors plus 4 floors underground. Unlike the JW Marriott, El Tornillo is an office tower, with the first 13 floors being a parking garage. The design of the tower is very complex based on the principles of geometric rotation of a prism. The idea was initially a purely theoretical concept, but with the skills of local architects, the ideation was fully realized. The construction began in 2008 and was completed in 2011, with a total cost of $45 million US. The building's design rotates the upper 39 floors around a central axis, giving it an appearance of a helix. With its green glass facade, this giant commands attention in the sky. As of making this video, it is the 9th tallest in Central America and 812th in the world. This is personally one of my favorite skyscrapers. And right next to El Tornillo, you'll find the Soho Mall Skyscrapers. It is named after a district in Manhattan. It is made up of 3 towers, the tallest of which is the HSBC Tower, standing at 679 feet or 207 meters tall, with the other 2 buildings being a twin standing at 482 feet or 149 meters. It is a mixed-use building with the twin towers having 120 luxury retailers and restaurants, the Ritz-Carlton Hotel, a casino, plus commercial office spaces. Construction of the SHBC Tower started in 2011 and ended in 2015. There are plenty more notable buildings in the city, such as the Hilton Casino right along Cinta Costera.